Here we are, ready to add more information to our Give Me 5 notes. And just to review, there are 5 things that a complete sentence needs. 2 of those things we have a song for. They're very easy to do, but you guys just forget to do them. So really get those in your head. They're the difference between you sounding like you know what you're talking about and you being someone online who has a whole lot to say, but no one can understand it because it looks like all one sentence. Caps and in mark, caps and in mark, caps and in mark, caps and in mark. Always, 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 always. Then, going back to our Mr. Morton song, it explained more about these 2. The part of the sentence where we actually start getting some information. They actually start saying something. And our song told us over and over that Mr. Morton was the subject. Mr. Morton was our who. Now we can also have sentences that aren't about a who. They could be about a what or a place. I feel like there's a part of speech that is perfect for a subject. Perfect because it gives us a who and it gives us a what. Think about it. Think about it. If you were thinking noun, you are correct. So we're going to add with very small letters because we've got a lot to get in here. The subject of your sentence is always a noun. Because a noun gives us a person, place. My left-handedness is blocking you. Thing or idea. For some of you, this might be enough. You might just be able to remind yourself, oh, the subject, it's the noun. That might not be enough for most of you, though. Let's give ourselves a question to ask when we are trying to find the subject. And it's an easy question because I know you've all asked it before. What? What are you talking about? Huh? Our subject tells us who or what we are talking about. You would never walk up to somebody and just say, ran in the hall and got a concussion. Because the very first thing they ask you after that is, who? You got to tell them who or what you're talking about before you give them all the rest of this junk. So rotate your paper, please, and write the question. Who or what is the sentence about? Give yourself a little thought bubble because you should probably think this in your head. Saying it out loud might get weird. If you ask yourself this and you look for an answer that's right at the beginning of the sentence, you will find it. That's why I give you so many ways to talk about your subject. Because these, I get it. I'm not an idiot. Language arts might not be your thing. These might not work. This, though, everyone can do this. Ask yourself, who or what is the sentence about? You'll find the subject. There we go, part 1. Part 2. Mr. Morton is the subject of the sentence, and what the predicate says, he does. Now, I think the song was trying to be easy peasy. They told you that a predicate is what he does. It's not wrong. And if you remember elementary school, when you're doing something, when you're doing an action, do you know what kind of word that is? Right, it's the verb. The verb helps you do something. But think about Mr. Morton. He did a lot of stuff. Mr. Morton walked, Mr. Morton talked, Mr. Morton grew, Mr. Morton ran. But that would be exhausting if those were your only choices. If your only choice was to do something. So what else is there? Mr. Morton was lonely. Mr. Morton was shy. He's not doing anything. You don't do shy. You don't do lonely. You be lonely. You be shy. You just be. You're not doing, you're being. And that is totally okay. That is allowed. That is a verb. Verbs can do or be. They help the noun do something or be something. Predicate, verb, do or be. Again, this might not be sticking, so let's ask a question that I know you've asked before. What are you doing? We're going to word it a little differently, though. We're just going to say, are they doing or being something? Are they doing or being something? If you ask yourself this question, you should be able to find the predicate pretty easy, guys. And those are the major parts of your sentence. Who is it about? Are they doing or being something? Once you've identified those two parts, you've pretty much got a sentence. Now, because you're big kids now, you're sixth graders, and we want your sentences to maybe be a little longer, a little more interesting. We would like some details. It doesn't have to be a bajillion things. In fact, if you add too much, your sentence starts to come off the rails. But just a few pieces of information. Mr. Morton walked down the street. You're telling us where he walked. Mr. Morton talked to his cat. Who did he talk to? That's all detail stuff. Not a noun, not a verb. Those are going to be your adverbs or adjectives. Adjective. Preposition. Probably didn't get to these much in elementary school, but I got a question for you again. Let's speak your language. I bet you have asked or answered questions like this before. Like, when? When did he walk? This morning. Where? Why? How? How did he walk? Quickly, lazily, or what kind? Put it in your thought bubble. You think those things, you're going to get some details in your sentence. Almost done. Not much to say about these guys. I will say if you see me do this under one of your letters, it's because you forgot caps. And your end mark choices, I don't know, in case you have a brain fart and you forget. There you go. And those are your Give Me 5 notes, guys. They'll help you write a complete, beautiful, perfect sentence every time. You can totally do it. I know you can do it. The one thing I am going to have you do to level up is take your details information and draw a rainbow from it all the way to the very beginning of your sentence. Because caps has to come at the beginning. It has to. That finger is locked down. End mark, end. It has to come at the end. Lock it down. Subject and predicate? Well, let's try it out. Mr. Morton walked down the street. Let's flip it. Walk down to the street, Mr. Morton. Well, no, unless you're giving him an instruction. Talked to the cat, Mr. Morton. No. So you got to go in order. You have to tell me who you're talking about before you can tell me what they're doing. Some stubborn kids like to try and challenge that. Go for it. But unless you're giving an instruction or asking a question, subjects always come before predicates. It's the details that can actually go anywhere. You can tell me when he walked here at the beginning. You could say, this morning, Mr. Morton walked down the street. You could tell me where in the beginning. In Hayesville Middle School, Mr. Morton is a teacher. You can move around your details, sprinkle their beauty and their excitement all over your sentence. Just make it so detailed and incredible, but everything else is locked in. Okay? That is it. That is your Give Me 5 notes. You're going to use this forever. So have it ready. Make sure you understand it. Ask me questions if you don't.